I just finished reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. If I'm being completely honest, I didn't expect much from this book. I'm the kind of person who believes in logic, facts, and action. Mindfulness, living in the present, all of it always sounded vague. Like something people say to sound wise, but never explain how it actually works. But here's the strange thing. This book didn't try to convince me of anything. It didn't argue or push some mystical philosophy. It just pointed at something obvious. Something I've ignored my whole life. Time. Not the kind of time you measure on a clock, but psychological time. The constant voice in your head that either drags you into the past or throws you into the future. Most of us live trapped between these two worlds. Regretting what we should have done, or worrying about what might happen next. Always chasing happiness like it's some finish line waiting for us in the future. Tolle calls it the mind-created self. That endless inner monologue that thinks it's you, but it's not. And for the first time I actually caught that voice in action. It happened while I was reading. My eyes were on the page, but my mind was somewhere else. Planning the next video script. Wondering if this book would even help me. Thinking about everything except the sentence in front of me. That's when it clicked. The mind is always doing that, pulling you away from what's happening right now. And the more I became aware of it, the quieter it got. No positive affirmations. No meditation music. Just noticing. It sounds so simple it's almost disappointing. But maybe that's the point. Most people think peace of mind is something you have to earn, after you solve all your problems, achieve all your goals, and become some perfect version of yourself. But what if the only thing standing between you and peace is the voice in your head constantly telling you you're not there yet? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this book will magically fix your life. It won't pay your bills or make you rich. But it shows you something most people never realize. Life is always happening now. Not yesterday. Not tomorrow. This moment, the one you're in right now, is the only reality that ever exists. The question is, are you really here? Or are you lost in the endless story playing in your head? If you're someone who thinks in facts and logic like me, this book might frustrate you at first. Because it won't give you a 5-step action plan or some scientific proof. It just gives you a choice. Stay trapped in your mind. Or finally, come back to now. I tried something after finishing the book. I sat down, closed my eyes, and just focused on my breath. Not to meditate or achieve some deep spiritual state, just to notice what was happening right now. At first, the voice kept interrupting, listing tasks I needed to finish, reminding me of conversations from earlier, predicting what I would say in this video. But then, there were these small gaps. Little moments where everything went quiet. Where I was just here. It didn't last long. Maybe a few seconds at most. But in those moments there was nothing to fix, nothing to chase, nothing missing. Just existence. Maybe that's what Tolle means when he says that the present moment is all there ever is. The mind wants to complicate everything, turn life into a puzzle that needs solving. But what if there's nothing to solve? What if peace isn't something you reach after years of hard work, but something that's been waiting for you this whole time, hidden underneath all the noise? I won't pretend I have it all figured out. My mind is still loud. The voice still comes back. But now, I know it's not me. And that's a start. If you're the kind of person who always needs answers, maybe this book will annoy you. But if you're willing to just sit with its message, without trying to understand it or prove it wrong, you might feel something you haven't felt in a long time. Presence. Not happiness. Not success. Just being. And maybe, that's enough. If I had to sum up the power of now in 5 key points, this is how I'd see it, from the perspective of someone who values logic and rational thinking. The first point is the illusion of time. Tolle argues that the past and future only exist in our minds. The only thing that's real is the present moment. At first this sounded unrealistic to me. After all, aren't our memories and plans what make us human? But the more I thought about it, the more I realized how often I live in those mental timelines. Reliving old conversations, rehearsing future scenarios, always somewhere else instead of here. The second key point is the voice in your head isn't you. That endless stream of thoughts, analyzing, judging, planning, we think that's who we are. But Tolle makes a powerful distinction. You are the observer of those thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. When I first tried watching my own mind, I was shocked by how noisy it was. But for brief moments I caught something deeper, a quiet awareness underneath all the chatter. The third point is pain is resistance to the present moment. Every time we feel stressed, anxious, or frustrated, it's not the situation itself causing the pain. It's our mind resisting what is, fighting reality instead of accepting it. That doesn't mean we shouldn't try to change bad situations, But there's a difference between taking action and mentally arguing with life. The fourth key point is ego thrives on identification. The ego isn't just pride or arrogance, it's any identity we cling to. Our job title, our achievements, even our problems. The mind loves labels because they give us a sense of self. But if we lose those labels, who are we really? Tolle suggests that beyond all the stories we tell ourselves, there's something deeper, pure consciousness, just existing without needing to be anyone or anything. And the final point is presence isn't something you achieve, it's something you remember. You don't need years of meditation or spiritual practice to experience it. You just have to notice it, in the space between thoughts, in the sensation of your breath, in the simple act of being aware. The challenge isn't finding presence, it's staying there. If you're someone who needs everything explained through logic, this book might frustrate you. It doesn't follow the rules of rational thought. But maybe that's the point. Maybe some truths can't be analyzed or proven. They can only be experienced. I don't know if I'll ever fully live in the now. But what I do know is this: every time I catch myself lost in thought and come back to the present, life feels lighter. Not perfect, not problem-free, just enough. And maybe that's the real power of now.